Just kind of messing around here. Hey everybody, good to see y'all tune in. It's been a little while. I know I've been out of pocket for a minute, but I'm getting back. I had a lot of students, a lot of young people been hitting me up, asking me questions about music. So I definitely want to get back into the swing of things. Hope you guys are enjoying the start of the summer. It's definitely a hot one down here in Louisiana. We are like sweltering, but I was reading on the internet in Saudi Arabia, man, they were saying the heat index was 165 degrees. That's crazy. I would have to move immediately. I wouldn't even last. 165. So thank goodness it's not that hot here in Louisiana, Southwest Louisiana, but it is pretty warm, although today's a pretty good day. Well, today I wanted to just talk a little bit about the process of making music yours. You know, when I started, wasn't very good at first, but I had so many encouraging, wonderful people in my circle that would just, you know, that would just encourage me, man. You know, I think back now, how impactful having growing up in a small church, you know, and having folks, if I squeak and squawk, they just say, "God bless him. Let him use you, baby," you know, and all that. That's important, you know. I don't want to make it sound like I'm making light of that. Looking back on it now, wow, what a wonderful gift to have a body of people that were there that knew, hey, he may not be where he's gonna be, but you know, God has used him, so to speak. So I look at that. I made a lot of mistakes. I hit a lot of wrong notes, but I learned from it too, and I think that's the important part. And I always try to tell my students, don't be afraid of mistakes. Don't shy away from them. Just learn from them. I had a student that they heard me playing a song. And they're like, "Man, how are you doing all that?" And I had to kind of break it down to them. I showed them, well, it's really not a lot what I did right there. I did little things to kind of embellish it. Just like if you're putting on an outfit, maybe you put the watch on to kind of embellish what you're doing. Ladies may put on the earrings or the necklace or the lipstick, or you may do something to your hair to kind of embellish the outfit, because when you go into the store, the outfit looks kind of dry, it looks kind of plain. But there's certain things that you can do to kind of give it some pop. You know, maybe the guys wear the ascot, or maybe they put the little flower or the little lapel type thing there. So when you hear me play, really you heard, those were the core notes. So I guess a different way to put it, I had a young person that reached out to me. They said, "Hey, I was asked to play this song. And they're like, "Man, it doesn't really sound good," because when they would play it, they got the sheet music online, and the sheet music said, and it just sounded kind of blah, kind of bland. And I had to explain to them how a lot of times I'll take music and I'll stay true to what the message of the music was, what the dots, the music, the notes, but I'll add certain elements to it. And I learned to do that a lot by ear, but also by transcribing. So when you talk about transcribing, what are we talking about? We're basically talking about the process of working out music in the sense of writing it out. Now, a lot of times transcription, you hear that term used more so with jazz musicians, because oftentimes with jazz music, or commercial music, there isn't sheet music that's already written out for it. So if you want the music written out, you got to do it yourself. We don't hear this term of transcription used heavily with classical musicians, because a lot of times their music has already been transcribed, it's already been written out, it's already been documented, because that genre has been in place a lot longer. So in an effort to transcribe music, a lot of times folks will say, you know, what's the purpose of it? Well, again, before I get into that, let me clarify. My time is very, very valuable, and I don't have a lot of time to sit around and write out music. So by all means, I would encourage anybody that's interested in developing their craft to seek out already written music. transcribe when necessary. Why do we transcribe? Because there's people that have already done it, and if you could model your playing after them, then that helps all the more. There's a fellow named Kirk Whalum. I listen to him, I love him. I try to model my sound after him. So all those little all that little stuff, those are things that I heard him do. The inflection, I would hear that. Now, I model after him, but at the end of the day, I'm still staying true to me. I still have my own ideas, but it's like an old saying, don't reinvent the wheel. If the wheel is already there, then, you know, continue to use it, because the wheel's not a bad thing. It works. So that's why we transcribe, so that we can try to attain those levels that folks before us have already reached. But when you're talking about transcribing, by all means, we live in 2016. Technology is out there. A lot of the stuff that you're interested in may already exist online. You can find it easily. A lot of times you just simply say transcription of whatever song, it'll pop up. But when you're looking at transcribing, if you can't find it in a jazz book or a fake book or a real book, then you may have to step out and kind of write it out on your own. And good players, they usually make more of what is simply on the piece. So even if you find a fake book or a real book, I would say go ahead and transcribe anyway using someone else's recording, because you'll see those little embellishments and you hear those little things that they add that may not be on the music per se that's written out. So some prerequisites to transcribe. I think you just really have to be willing, and you got to be just open to testing out the water, so to speak. As far as sound equipment is concerned, obviously you need to have something to play the actual recording on. Maybe it's a YouTube clip that you're trying to hear. Maybe it's something on SoundCloud. Maybe it's vinyl. Yeah, these things called records. Maybe it's a cassette. I know back in the day, that's how I learned. I'd put in these cassettes and I'd listen to folks like Gerald Albright, Kirk Whalum, and there were some local artists such as Marcus Davis. I'd listen, and I'd keep on. Somebody said 8-track. Yeah, Joy, 8-track, you know what I mean? I don't know if they go back that far, you know. I know about it. You know, my kids, hey, investigate the thing called the 8-track. It's incredible. Cassettes, yeah, CD, mini disc. Computer software is valuable when you're transcribing. They have tons of free apps and lots of different things you can find that will actually slow down recordings without sacrificing the pitch of it. And you want that, because depending on the artist that you listen to, the music may be going too fast for you to figure out what's going on. So by slowing it down, it gives you a leg up on transcribing. And there's even computer software that does automatic transcription. Again, I'm old school. I like for you to kind of do it by ear, because it develops that skill set that you need, and that serves you well even when you're playing too. So again, first try to get a hold to the music if you can. I would highly recommend that, and then you can transcribe from there, because oftentimes the music will not capture 100% everything, the written out music. When you transcribe, you know, it could be something as simple as mapping out the verse, the chorus, the middle section, you know, if you got a bridge, vamp, or anything like that. I think all these things go into play into helping you scope out a scene or a musical map, so to speak. And again, those playback tools will help you with this. And I think when you transcribe, it's just a matter of getting in there and getting your hands dirty. A better example would be, it's like a jigsaw puzzle. And when you're putting together a puzzle, you just start with whatever you can do first. You find the most identifiable thing and you go from that. And as you're transcribing, there may be a lick or riff, an idea. Now that last part, maybe you can't figure it out that fast, but what you could figure out is, so you identify that, maybe you sing it back, you get on your piano, you get on your instrument, and you try to isolate and figure that out, and then it's just like a puzzle piece. Once you figure out one element, then you'll be able to attach and build more things from there. So I had a student that was asking me, how do I even start? You start by simply doing that. You just start. You start and you find what you can do and you do that, and then you build from it, and you'll be amazed. I know that sounds so simple, but sometimes the greatest things are the simple things. Small things done well stacked on top of each other. That's what transcribing is. In a lot of ways, that's what putting a puzzle together is. I'm thinking of it more from a melodic standpoint, but obviously you can transcribe harmonically. But the folks that have been reaching out to me are generally horn players that have been reaching out. You find that predominant riff, that idea that you can catch on to, latch on to, and then you write that down, and then you start building from there. And if you have to write out the first part and the ending and maybe the middle, just like you would put together a puzzle. Very rarely can you go puzzle piece, puzzle piece, puzzle piece, and start building sequentially. Sometimes you have to start here, and then what do? We find the corner, or you find the face, of somebody, and you put together the eyes and the nose. You find those identifiable parts, and then as you begin to put other pieces together, you'll see it'll eventually come together and it'll take shape. But that's what I would highly recommend. Find something that you enjoy, a piece of music that you wouldn't mind listening to over and over again for the process, and then watch it take shape. So that's transcription. I hope that kind of helped shape the process, and again, I think it's a valuable part to what it means to be a musician. There's old scripture in Habakkuk that says, write the vision, make it plain, basically so that you can run with it. And I think that's what transcription does for you. It allows you to transcribe. Actually means to write, so you're writing it down in a way that makes it plain so that you can hopefully musically run with it. So once again, my name is Mickey Smith. Check out the Facebook page and like it, MickeySmithJr, and I'll be back soon, maybe play a little music for you later. Thanks guys.